Well, hello again, everyone. It is me, your whiskey coach, on a frigid evening here in the U.S. Midwest. Back at it again for yet another whiskey review. So I know I told you guys last time that I was going to do bourbon. I almost promised as much. That I was going to do bourbon through the winter months. And then I wouldn't touch any of the spirits until the spring. Or call it late winter when I would get into Irish whiskey. However, I stumbled across something that I had been looking at for quite some time today at my local shop. Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey XO Caribbean Rum Cask Finish. I would say Tullamore Dew is kind of like my crown royal of Irish whiskey, if you will. Meaning, it's not something that, many of the connoisseurs or experts or industry specialists have a whole lot of, frankly, respect for. It's a blended Irish whiskey. It's pretty easily available. It just doesn't have that prestige that some other brands out there do. I'm a loyal person. I still have a soft spot in my heart for the line, and read something about this some time ago, and as a rum guy like myself, I couldn't resist not only picking this up, but wanting to review this for you here this evening. Since I figured I was doing Tullamore Dew cask finish whiskeys, I thought I would also knock out the cider cask finish. So we're going to do a double tonight, and then a little bonus information actually at the end of our review tonight. For all of you bourbon lovers who had requested, hey, Coach, what are your favorite budget bourbons, so to speak? So I'm going to go over those. Certainly not going to review them all, but going to talk about them real briefly. Just kind of give you my, 9 or 10 favorite budget bourbons. So with no further ado, we are going to do both. I'm not going to get into Tullamore Dew a ton. Feel free to reference some of my older reviews for information about Tullamore Dew, generally speaking. These guys, by the way, are, to my knowledge, both just your traditional Tullamore Dew, aged for an unspecified amount of time in former cider casks, and Damara former rum casks. Apparently they tried several different casks, rum casks, and that was the one they decided to move forward with. Like I said, doesn't really show you how long that they sat in the rum casks. But again, like I said, very excited about these two offerings. Price point wise, by the way, for whatever weird reason, the cider cask only comes in, or at least here, only comes in a 1 liter, which I thought was weird. This is your more traditional 750, but right around $30 here for the cider cask, and I picked this one up today for $28. Talk about the packages real quick. Because they're lower end on the Tullamore Dew scale, they just come with a twist off, as you just saw. Tops do have a really nice kind of design outside of that, though. If you get a chance to look at that here closely, you can see it's kind of got gold accents, and it's also got like apples there in the background on the label, which is a nice touch. And then this one, very different. It's got that XO in the background. It's got some, on the bottom there, it shows like a old schooner ship. On the side, it kind of shows some more nautical scenes, talking about the link between the rum spirit and the Irish whiskey spirit, and just kind of tying the two together, which, again, I like. So, without further ado, let me dive into this, and I do have a water here to cleanse the palate. This one I have tried, just one pour, probably a month or two ago. This one I haven't, obviously. So, you'll see one review for the first time. This will be my first review on this one, but I have sipped this before. So, you do get the apples slightly on the Tullamore Dew cider cask. It's just what you think an apple cider aroma would be. Slightly sweet, slightly tart, acidic, appley. I mean, really, what would you expect it to taste or smell like? The graininess and the cereal notes of an Irish whiskey are there in the background, ever present. Raisins, maybe some pecans. Pretty approachable nose. Let's dive in. So I'll let you in a little secret. First time I tried this, I was a bit disappointed. Really, because I expected more cider. I expected this to almost taste like you poured a little Strongbow, if you're familiar with Strongbow or Magners, into some Irish whiskey, and you kind of had a little bit of a blend. And it's much more subtle than that. Oh, by the way, this one is a 40 proof, or an 80 proof or a 40% ABV, and this one is a 43 ABV or 86 proof. Back to the cider cask. I was a little bit disappointed by how subtle the nuances of apple were. They came a little bit alive towards the end of my tasting, but not too much, frankly. I'm getting a little bit more of it today. I don't know if it's just because all of the million environmental changes, maybe what I had for dinner tonight, maybe because I haven't eaten in some time, or maybe it's just because the bottle's gotten exposed to oxygen for a little while. Who knows? But I'm getting a little more of that appliness, which is what prompted me to pick this up. That and the fact that I'm a Tullamore Dew sucker and I'll pretty much buy anything they put out. Yeah, it's there. It's still... I would like to believe that I would know this is an apple cider cask aged Irish whiskey if you didn't tell me that, but I'm not sure I would. It's light, it's almost refreshing in that way. So I guess in that way it is unique, and it probably does speak to the fact that it is cider cask aged. But a different whiskey, if you're looking for something, in the fall, especially, it's kind of a cool change up. I like it. I actually, like I said, like it a little bit more this second tasting. I'll review my score, or I'll reveal my score here momentarily. Okay. To the XO rum cask finish. Yeah, what the heck, I'll read you guys the little descriptions. On the cider cask, crafted in the long tradition of our Irish whiskey making with this special cask finished whiskey, we draw upon another tradition Irish craft, cider making. Old whiskey barrels which have previously held fresh pressed Irish cider at the early stages of fermentation impart a sweet, fruity vibrancy to the whiskey. Cool, pretty much what I just said. This one says, with this XO rum cask finish, we pay tribute to the role of Irish immigrants in the development of rum in the Caribbean in the 17th century by finishing our blend in the finest rum cask to develop a smooth whiskey with layers of sweetness and tropical fruit. Nice, straightforward, to the point. Shall we? That's a first. I don't think I talked about the nose at all. I just kind of dove right in. Couldn't resist. As I was drinking it, I thought, oh crap, I forgot to talk about how it smells. You definitely smell sweetness, banana, creme brulee, coconuts, almonds. You smell rum. or at least the rum influence immediately when you lift the glass to your nose. It is there. That's a beautiful nose. Very different. To be honest with you, I was thinking about how it smelled as I was swallowing it, more so about how the actual whiskey tasted in my mouth. So let me try that again. Guys, I like this one. I like this one a lot. Man, the finish is rum. The finish tastes like a fine sipping rum. The mid palate is lighter. It's zestier. It's more citrus. It's more green grass. It's more what you expect of Irish whiskey. The beginning is buttery. It's toffee. It's impacted by that initial rum nose. It's got both, and it's done very, very well. I like this one. Scores. Cider Cask, I will give a 6.8 is what it is. The Rum Cask Finished XO, I will give a 7.8. That's that. Don't go away. I'm going to put these here to the side, finish these drams here momentarily, put them by their bottles so we don't forget what's what. Okay, so again, some of you guys talked about, hey, what do you think? What's out there? I don't have a big budget. I'm not big baller. I'm, a man of not necessarily limited means or a woman of limited means, but I have a budget. I can't just go buy anything I want to buy. I certainly can maybe not go buy stuff off the secondary market. What do you suggest for? And I didn't really get any of you giving me numbers per se, but I used the $30-ish range on down when kind of compiling this list. Some of the bottles I have here with me, and I'll show you them just to add a little bit of visual to the audio. And some of them I'll just kind of tell you. We'll start with the ones that I'll just kind of verbally tell you. First one that comes to mind, especially with availability, bang for your buck, is so funny. I'm drawing a blank on what the heck the name of it is. Well, one is Wild Turkey 101. That's a great value. I mean, every liquor store in the country has that one. $20-ish. Can't go wrong. Thought of it. Henry McKenna Bottled and Bond. 10-year-old age-stated whiskey. About a $30 bottle. Can find it everywhere. Heaven Hill product. 10-year bottle of bond, $30. Okay. Sign me up. That's a big one. Four Roses small batch. Again, high 20s, low 30s. Good bottle. Now let's go into some that I have here with me. Some, by the way, have become either allocated or maybe dropped an age statement. But if you can find some of these bottles in your part of the world or your part of the country, do yourself a favor and pick them up. Outstanding value. Let's start with Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond. This is, to my knowledge, only a Kentucky available bottle. Right around $15. 6 years old, Bottled and Bond, delicious bourbon. Number two, this is pretty much available everywhere now. Just your standard Buffalo Trace. In the $25 range. This one's actually a store pick from Party Source in Northern Kentucky. But this is pretty much available everywhere. Beautiful fluid. Actually the same mash bill as Eagle Rare, if you're familiar with that, which probably just didn't make the list because on cost alone. But 6 to 8 year old bourbon, they estimate. Very, very good. Highly available. Now this one, not available anymore. You can still find just the small batch is what they're calling it now. But good old fashioned Elijah Craig 12 year. Man, what a value that was when that was around. just solid workman bourbon. Another kind of extinct one, unfortunately, you may still find it if you're down south or in a small town. Old Fitzgerald, beautiful bourbon, $15, $20. One that you can find, I think, in every liquor store in the country. I like it a ton. Old Granddad Bottle and Bond. Again, $20-ish, great pour. You don't have to break the make 100 proof. Bottle and Bond's got to be 100 proof. And this one you guys may kill me a little bit because it's pretty damn hard to find nowadays. But, you know, when I do find this here in Ohio at least, $33. This was kind of the top end price-wise. This and one other I'm about to show you. Elmer T. Lee. Amazing bourbon. Buffalo Trace. Some of you guys are going to give me heat on this because for whatever reason, this brand doesn't get the respect it deserves. Give it the respect. Maker's Mark. Maker's Mark in general is wonderful. The 46, in my opinion, is even better. Low 30s, maybe 40. Probably actually shouldn't have been on the list. It's a little higher than I wanted to go price-wise, but good bottle. Find it everywhere. Now these last two, you guys are going to bust my chops again because it's as hard to find as Elmer T. Lee, if not more so. Weller Antique. I mean, 107 proof, delicious wheated bourbon that I can put up there with many bottles, up to 10 times the cost of it. And then Weller 12-year-old. Same thing, wheated bourbon at 90 proof, 12 years old, Buffalo Trace. Almost impossible to find now, unfortunately. That's it, guys. Long review, covered a lot of information, I hope. Look at it as 2 for 1. Until next time, and as always, hey, if you're looking for something different, expand your horizons, bourbon geeks. I'm with you, I love it too, but there's other stuff out there. I'm trying to expose you. Pick this up. That was pretty good. $28. Until next time, guys. Glasses up. Take care.